Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to the C++ uh, next lessons in our current series. If you've been sticking around with the live classes or the recordings, you know that we are a couple weeks into this, and we have done a few interesting things. Um, I'm covering a lot of foundational stuff as I'm going through this programming tutorial through C++ because there's a lot of different applications. And C++ is a very powerful language that has a lot of application and is used very often. So eventually I will probably do some stuff touching on how you could use it in, for example, game design, like in the Unreal Engine. Uh, it would be an application. It wouldn't actually. I would not in this class require you to use the Unreal Engine. But one very important tool that I really wanted to cover in this class that will help potentially with the assignment that I'm going to give this week is about arrays. So an array is a way that you can use um, a various sort of like a list of objects. So it's a data set of small items of the similar character type. So you could get items like floats, integers, doubles, characters, strings, all that kind of stuff. That stuff can all be stored in an array, and that makes it easier to call upon something if it's an array, and that'll have a more in-depth library. So I just have a blank um, REPL up open right here, and I just kind of want to show a few different types of arrays that we can do or how we can initiate them. So if we have an integer type of array, you can do int and then R1. This is just what I'm going to name it. I'm going to have my square brackets 10. Alright, so what this has done, also going to need that semicolon, is in this index I have basically said that I have an array length of 10, which of course in your counting will start at 0. So this will only go up to a final index of 9, so it would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And right now, there's not really a whole lot that we have done here with this, but we did create the array. Now the way we want to do that, if you were interested, is int, and we could say n, and then R2 of n, and that's basically saying, I'm just going to separate these so it's a little clearer what I'm trying to get across. So we have our n, and then we'll set that to whatever we want for our array. So we can set this equal to 10, and this would essentially do the same thing. It takes up another line of code, but if that becomes a variable and you need to change the size of your array in the future, that is how you would do that. So next I want to show you an array declaration by initializing the elements within the array. So I'm going to keep all the arrays types that I make here, at least for right now, integers, and I'm going to leave this all of them as I'm making them. So I'll have my array 3, and I can leave this as just open brackets like that, and then I'm going to have my curly brackets, like a list in Python. I'm going to say, we'll just go up by 10 every time, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is the same thing. I'll kind of write this off to the side and comment. This is the same thing as if we did integer array, what did I name it, a 3 with a 5 in the brackets because it has a length of 5. And then we went and did our 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It's the same way to do this, but it has one less character, and this lets you be a little more flexible. Again, is very useful to know as you get into more complicated lines of code. So, this is also useful if your array does not have that many characters. So in this next example, array R4, let's say that I'm going to say it's an array with 10, 10 indexes in it. But I'm only going to fill out 10, 20, 30, 40. So it only is taken up 4 of the indexes, but the array has been initialized with the 10 total. So what this is essentially saying, is I'll use our same thing, the int of air R4 with, we can just leave these as blank, and then that's basically saying 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are 6 different zeros. So now we have 10 items in this index, but we only specified 4 of them. And this is how you can use to fill an array as you are taking input from the user and you're not really sure if you can combine these. I want to have a maximum of 10 items in this array, or I don't know how many are going to be entered. It's very useful for that. But remember, you will always start off with your 0th element, and it will go to the size of this array minus 1, using the counting that you use in programming. So I'm going to actually cut all this out, and I want to show like a very basic example and like what actually prints something with it. So inside this main, I'm going to have my array. I'm going to have it be 5. I'm not going to classify it yet. And I'm going to, one at a time, classify its individual places. Right? So the 0th position, I want that to equal 5, the 0th index. So I'll go ahead and write this off to the side in this comment. Right now, this is 0 all the way across with 5 of them. Now, we have established that our 0th index is 5, but the rest have not been touched. They are still 0. I'm going to come over here and get the second index, or number 2, and then we'll set that to 9. Get our semicolon there to finish it off. Now what this is having us is, so for 0 it's 5, 1 is 0, 2 is 9, and then the rest have not been touched. I'm going to show a little bit of, for this index stuff, it will only do integers. So if you had some sort of issue, but you said the position of 3 divided by 2 is equal to, we'll say 2 in this case, basically this is, I'll write off to the side here, this is the same as if we just said 1 equals 2. But it's just a little bit of funky syntax for you to know as you're doing it. Now, what I want to do here is, also I just remembered, I had a new sheet here. I forgot to include my studio.h. Yes, right there. Perfect. Now, I'm going to, in this next line here, for the print, instead of using a C out, and I'm going to have $sign, or sorry, %D. I have 4 right there, and then our array at position 0. I'll do the array at position 1, array at position 2. And I'm just gonna 3. And that's really all I want to print for right now. I can keep going, but I didn't fill up beyond that. Just want to show you guys what this should look like. And then at the end, we're going to have a return 0. So now, if I have this going in here, I moved back to REPL, but it is being a little slow with me, so if I forgot to put the colon on there. So let's try that one more time. REPL has been a little bit slow, but it still looks very nice. So our output will be our 5290. If I added the array of index 4, which I might as well here at the end, just so you can see the full thing, put that at the end, and right here we're going to add another $D. This is what this studio package is, why I'm doing this $D right here. But you could see it is outputting our I'm not sure why this is such a large number, but it's outputting our final array here. There are other ways that you can do this, like most of the stuff that we've done in C++ so far. There are a lot of different ways to solve any of these problems. And that's part of why I want to be a little bit open-ended with this, is I want there to be a level of exploration through it. Part of what makes coding interesting is it's not just copying and pasting someone else's code. There's a way to explore and find your own way to the end. But for right now, that's all I particularly wanted to show you for this array information and how to kind of understand that. There is a lot more to arrays, but for our basic level, this is good enough for a tutorial. So, the assignment. I will use comments here you can see exactly what I'm talking about, but I kind of want to have this assignment was gotten on that website, hackerrank.com. But the general idea of it is you are trying to figure out how much it would cost to stay at a hotel. So we're going to use very fixed rates. You can change it and see how you want to do it if you want to go as deep. But for the most basic aspect, what I'm just going to have is that you'll be prompted for however many rooms the user wants. They will be asked if they want a regular room or a suite, which the suite would be a little more expensive, and then you would calculate the price based on the beds and if it's a regular room or suite. Alright, so arrays are going to be useful. You can do this without using an array, but that's not the point of the assignment. The point of the assignment is to take the user's input as an array. So they should just be using integers as they give their own, how many rooms, 1 to 9, I guess, and then how many beds in the rooms your total should be 1 to 9 also. So once you apply that as the array, you can take the elements of the array and do calculations with them. So that's all I really wanted to show you guys for this. I just wanted to let you know what our assignment was. Apologies for being a few days late on the class and revealing the assignment, but you will have until next Thursday evening to submit it. Thank you.